welcome to 8 Tracks, the show where we look at 8 tracks that share a theme. As always, I'm joined by Katie. How are you doing, Katie?
Hi, I'm looking good and feeling gorgeous. How are you?
I am alright, thanks. As always, we want you to follow along with the playlist provided in the description, so when we say track 1, go listen to track 1. Or just listen to them all before. We just want you to have heard the songs before you listen. This week, we're talking about the Wall of Noise, which I realise now is a bit of a nebulous term. And after doing a big Wikipedia search to see if I could define it any better,
No, I did the same thing. It's fine.
I realised we're not talking about Phil Spector's Wall of sound production style. We're talking about noise music. And our favourite noise music tracks.
Our favourite noisy boys and girls, and those who do not identify with the binary spectrum of gender.
Yes. Just toddlers bashing pans. That's all this episode's going to be, pretty much.
Hell, and also, yeah.
How have you been over the last couple of weeks, Katie?
Yeah, completely fine. I just bought a kilogram of white chocolate and I'm about 15 minutes away from a panic attack, but I'm doing just fine.
Lockdown's still treating you well, then.
So even for me, the chocolate isn't even for me. The panic attack is, though.
Well, that's the better of the two to inherit, I guess. I'm not a big white chocolate fan myself. I'd rather have a panic attack.
I hate this stuff. Let's have a panic attack. Whoa!
You know what I was thinking about the other day, actually? I haven't had in ages.
Tell me.
White chocolate mice. I don't know if I like them anymore.
Right. The last time I was at New Lanark, I had them because New Lanark has an old-fashioned sweetie shop, and they suck.
Oh, not so nice.
Yeah, they taste like eating a candle.
Tasty candle, though. Shaped like a small...
No.
Just
no, not tasty.
What candle would it taste like eating? Specifically?
Oh, are we going Yankee, or do you want it to be more nebulous?
No, like, give me an exact flavor of Yankee candle, scent of Yankee candle, flavor of Yankee candle. Fucking hell.
I feel like it would be like eating the vanilla cupcake scented Yankee candle.
Excellent. Right, ramble over. I'm first up this week.
Yes, do it.
I've chosen I Quit Girls by Japandroids. Track 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was I Quit Girls by Japandroids.
Yes, it was.
When I said, let's make a podcast about Wall of Sound, I then had to think about what the fuck I meant by Wall of Sound. It's hard to define. I think it's the use of dissonant tones and layering of instruments to create a physical wall of music, like a literal wall for me, anyway. And that song kind of takes elements from drone music, where, it repeats the same riff throughout the whole song.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that makes a wall of sound.
Yeah.
What did you think of that track, Katie?
I really like it. I was sitting in my car last night trying to work out if I actually knew any noise rock.
Yeah.
And it's something that I really, really struggle with. Like, I think from hearing this, I'm really worried about how differently we've interpreted noise rock.
But that's fine. We both get a different say. I think this is the one that I was most worried about being actually noise rock.
Really? Because I feel very confident that this is noise rock.
Well, this one and my next one are the two that I was most worried about.
Okay. I feel very confident that you've made like a really good pick for something that creates a wall of noise.
But I really find it impressive that it's only two guys as well. It's a guitarist / vocalist and a drummer / vocalist.
Wow.
Really does have a presence for only being two members. And it's rare you see a band do that successfully. Like Royal Blood does it as well, but Japandroids seem to really have a presence with this.
Yeah, totally.
I'm looking at the comments on YouTube videos. People are making like Deftones comparisons, and obviously that's a 4 or 5 person band, with the bassist and stuff to add to the layering and stuff. Where that is just a boy with a guitar, and I assume what is a beasting effects board.
Yeah. Oh, he's probably got at least 3 pedals on there, Jamie. At least.
There sounds about 6 to me, if I'm being honest. Or he's got one of these really fancy handmade ones.
I was being incredibly sarcastic. I don't know how many pedals there are there. I don't even know how a guitar works.
No, I was kind of being facetious, if I'm being honest. I don't know how many pedals he has either. He just definitely has some on it.
He has several.
I don't think that song gets too repetitive.
No.
I know it's the same sequence and it's like even the same lyrics repeated,
Mm.
but I find that I still think it's engaging throughout the whole thing.
Mm.
Because I have a real thing, and it happens. I like prog and I like noise rock, and a lot of that can drag on for quite a while.
Mhm.
I have a real thing about songs outstaying their welcome. So I'm such a
Mhm.
big fan of punk and shorter music in general. But
Yeah.
I always find it impressive when a song doesn't really change all that much. You know, is 5 minutes long and
Mhm.
still stays fresh. I love that guitar riff as well. There's something about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there a keyboard in there as well? Like
No,
something like a no?
no, it's a guitar and drums.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's just he's got I think he's got quite a lot of. Well, he's obviously got quite a lot of distortion, but he's got some chorus
Mhm.
backing it up as well, and I would assume tiny wee bit of delay.
Mm.
And I don't know, I can't recognize other pedals. See, that's the thing with pedal like guitarists that use a lot of pedals. It's hard to define what exactly they're doing to get that sound. But yeah, he's using a fair few pedals to achieve that sound.
Yeah.
I think he's got a Digitech whammy in there as well to maybe mirror
Okay.
a higher pitch. So a
Right.
Digitech
Okay.
whammy basically takes what you're playing and shifts it
Mhm.
an octave up or below, or 2 octaves up or 2 octaves below.
Right.
But you can have it. This is boring guitar chat, but you can have it going through 2 outputs. So it plays your normal output, so your normal what your
Mhm.
sounds like in your guitar, and one that's playing like any interval above or below. So I think he's got
Okay.
a Digitech whammy playing 1 2 octaves above to get that high pitched noise to mirror the
Mhm.
guitar throughout that.
Right.
Rambles about the guitars. Sorry.
Yes. Guitars have strings.
Yes. 6. He might be using a
Thank
7
you.
string or an 8 string though.
Oh, what have I done? Shut up.
I doubt it. I doubt it. That's some heavy new metal shit. 8 string
Please
guitars.
don't. Please don't. I can't emotionally deal with this.
I love when the drums kick in as well, right at the end.
Mm.
Really takes it to a fucking new place, and I really,
Yeah.
really feel it in my gut. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. The thing I think that makes wall of noise or wall of sound thus is a kind of aspect of impenetrability to the
Yeah.
music.
Because I guess you could say like this
And
whole list is on our hard sells list as well.
yeah, kinda. Yeah.
I would certainly say a lot of mine are.
I meant impenetrability in not in the sense of getting into the music, but in the kind of I don't know, I feel like wall of sound should create something that feels like an actual wall. There'll be a song later and I'll explain this a bit better when I'm talking about it, but it should create the musical equivalent of like walking into a wall.
Yeah. I think that I Quit Girls captures that.
Very much so, yeah. Thank you, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, yeah. I'm saying I agree.
Yes.
I concur.
I agree with your agreement.
Excellent. We're all in agreement here.
Yes. Forsooth.
Yay, what is that? Is that the next track?
Yeah, the next pick's my pick.
Tell us all about it.
No.
Great.
Haha, just kidding.
Great.
My next pick is Afterglow by A Sudden Burst of Colour.
The Garage Barrage Edition. Or the Garage Barrage.
Track 2.
Right, so I don't know what noise rock is, clearly.
I disagree. I think that's noise music as well.
I really hope so, because the more I look at my list, the more I'm like, I've just picked post-rock and been like, fuck it.
There is a big crossover between post rock and noise rock.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope everyone agrees.
Yeah, no, I find that noise rock enough. There's
Yeah.
dissonant sounds. It
Yeah, I
creates a
based a lot
wall.
of... very much so. There's a wall. It is composed of noise, not bricks.
The best kind of wall.
Yeah,
Keeps you safe from the
very much
outside.
so. Absolutely. I feel like a lot of my picks have been based on bands that I've seen live and felt kind of like intimidated by a wall of noise.
So where did you see these guys then?
I think I saw them in Block many, many moons ago. A Sudden Burst of Colour are from Motherwell, I believe.
We can't all be perfect.
Yeah, sorry guys. But yeah, I just think they're I think they do really nice things with layering sound, and contrary to a lot of other kind of post-rock bands I like, they play a lot of clean music.
What do you mean by that?
So the guitars sound really clean
Hmm. Hmm.
compared to, say, like Mogwai or, Godspeed You Black Emperor, where the distortion is like right up to 11.
Like,
Yeah,
I agree and I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Because that guitar it still had like a layer of distortion on it. Not very much, but like it was muddy as fuck with chorus.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just mean in general. I don't mean in
Hmm.
that specific track. But yeah, they play quite a nice, clean guitar a lot of the time. This is not a great example of that, apparently. But they are really good. They're a really good bands, and I really like the wall of noise effect that they use.
Hmm.
Didn't realize this song had a two-hand tapping in it.
Yeah, right at the start. That gave me big
Yeah,
like
just
American
seen that in
football
the video.
vibes.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it reminds me of I'll See You When We're Both Not So Emotional. I think that's all.
Okay.
That's it off their first album.
Right,
The
right.
rest are very similar, but the American football one's less distorted.
Yeah, yeah.
I liked it as well, and
Yeah.
I don't think it would have worked with a vocalist, so I'm glad they didn't have
No.
that.
They
Oh,
don't there's no lyrics in any of their songs
what's the
there.
old adage? Lyrics are just a trick to get you to listen to the music for longer.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's an old
You
adage.
learn you learn something new every single day, it would seem.
Yeah, I don't think their stuff would work with a vocalist,
Mm,
but the guitars take up the melody lines really nicely.
yeah. I think it's really pretty music as well.
Yeah, it certainly does have an aesthetic to it, and a good one at
Very
that.
much so. Yeah. I think they're a really cool band, and I really like the wall of noise that they create, which is why I picked them for this.
Yeah, you've done a really good job of picking Scottish bands as well. My picks now all feel kind of like baby's first noise music compared to like you've gone
Oh
for like
no.
local bands.
No, like when I was growing up, I was really, really lucky in that I got into music just at the right time. I would listen to Jim Gellatly's radio show on XFM when
Mm.
I was lying in bed at night when I was like a teenager.
Mm.
So there were loads of bands that I got exposed to that I feel that I might not have otherwise ever come into contact with, like Pop Up in the 1990s, Kid Canaveral,
Mm.
Frightened Rabbit as well. And some of them have gone on to do, huge things, like really, really big things, like support the fucking Cure.
Yeah.
And then others have gone on to die quietly. Yeah, which is sad for them, I guess. But A Sudden Burst of Colour were one of those bands that I think I heard about through Jim Gellatly. I bought their first EP. This song's from their first EP, which I bought a billion moons ago off Bandcamp. And it's one of those, I listen to a lot of post-rock when I'm working
Yeah.
because I can't have music with lyrics playing while I'm trying to write.
Mm. Mm. It's distracting.
So, very much so, because I always end up accidentally typing the lyrics out. So I'll just be writing an article and then all of a sudden I'll have like lyrics in the middle of it and I'm like, hold on a minute. No, I didn't put those there. But yeah, I always, I go between like Mogwai, Explosions in the Sky, A Sudden Burst of Colour,
Mm.
bands like that, soundtracks as well when I'm working. And I really like listening to A Sudden Burst of Colour when I'm trying to work.
What radio station was Jim Gellatly on?
XFM, babe.
Ah, see, I didn't listen to much radio growing up, and I think I missed out on some of the scene not living in Glasgow.
Uh-huh.
My exposure to new music mostly came from folk older than me, like family
Right,
members,
okay.
like cousins, being like, "Are you into this?" And so my kind of knowledge of like local or younger bands is limited. Has been
Yeah,
for quite
yeah.
a long time. It's gotten better over the years, especially when I moved to Glasgow and started going to like weird gigs, just going to
Yeah.
like 13th Note and seeing who's playing, or like Block or whatever. But I'm envious of the fact that you had that growing up and got to experience bands like this at a younger age.
It's something I'm really blessed to have because places like Block, they just put on shit for free at like a fiver. So
Mm.
I'd finish up at college or finish up. I was at Stirling Uni for a couple of years, so I'd finish up at that, just go straight into the town,
Yeah.
pay a fiver, and sit in Block all night and just listen to tunes.
Mm.
So because Block was open till 3 a.m., they had music on till 1.
Yeah.
So you'd sit there, listen to music, have a pizza, and then go home.
It's good shit.
And it was Oh, it's so good. Pizza and Block's really good. Highly recommend. Their food's really nice. Their Iron Brew pulled pork is really good.
I can say the same in the 13th Note as well. Like, their food
Yeah,
is
no,
so good.
absolutely.
And cheap
Yeah, and
gigs.
I again, yeah, I saw a lot of bands in the 13th Note, Broadcast, Sleazy's, places like that.
Yeah, Broadcast is fantastic.
So good,
Miss
so good.
Broadcast, Miss Broadcast.
Yeah, I've seen some really like good weird music and even the garage. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah, you could
jealous of
just
that
kind of
because Edinburgh venues don't have that. There's not
yeah.
that level of it. Like
It's,
you have your Bannermans and you have like fucking Whistle Binkies and yeah, there's like a few small ones, but there's none as good as the strip of Broadcast, Sleazy's, the Garage,
yeah,
all on Sauchiehall Hall Street.
yeah. And then you used to have the ABC there as well. God rest its soul.
R.I.P.
Rest in power. That disco ball. Oh. But again, it wasn't just that. So there were periods of my life as well where I was going to see a band, like a bigger band, like maybe 3 or 4 times a month. So I was young and hopeful, so I'd go for the support acts as well.
Yeah.
And you'd see some cracking bands supporting like bigger bands as well. Like I got into the Manchester Orchestra when I went to see Biffy Clyro and stuff like that. And yeah, really, really good support bands as well.
I always used to
But
stick
now
around
I'm too old.
for the supports.
I used to, but now that I'm old and I like to sit down, I'm like, nah, fuck that. I'm just gonna go for the main act and then go to the bar and then die in the car.
That's it. Yeah.
Don't even drink at gigs anymore. Just have a water.
A Coca-Cola if you're feeling feisty.
Yeah, if we're just on the right side of payday.
Right. Are you all ready for some emo?
I was born unready.
Unsurprisingly, more emo from me. It's Fat by Archers of Loaf. Track 3. So mind how I said I hate songs that outstay their welcome?
Yeah.
That's a prime example of that. A minute and 20.
We didn't even speak that whole time, and I was just like, "Oh my god, is that done?"
Yeah, blinking is over. Yeah, I was worried about this one being noise rock as well, but then I did look in the Wikipedia, and Wikipedia has my back. Thank you, Wiki. Always there for me. Best friend for life.
It was always default to the Wikipedia, Jamie.
No, I love this song. I think this was in our Spotify job. So was the Japandroids track that I got recommended just over the years. But it's so emosh, and I just love it. It's all distorted noises. I love that guitar riff. And then it does my favourite little trick of using a minute, like a couple seconds of silence to drag you back into the track.
That.
Aye, that's good shit.
You do love a wee bit of quiet.
The rest of the album, Icky Metal, doesn't necessarily sound like this. It's a lot more kind of traditionally song structured. Like this gives me a bit of Cap and Jazz vibes.
Very much so. Yeah, I get that too.
Do you find this any more listenable? Because I know you hate Cap and Jazz.
I hate Cap and Jazz because the lead singer sounds like somebody attacking a guitar with a circular saw.
Yeah. So what do you think of Archers
So
of
the
Loaf?
answer to that, I like this better, but I still don't like it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
What don't you
No,
like
I'm
about
afraid not. It's not. I don't like emo music, Jamie.
it? You're just not emotional enough.
Nah, I'm not. Like, I'm on too many antidepressants to be emotional. I'm sorry.
That's it. You just can't feel it, Katie.
Yeah, I don't have feelings. I'm really sorry.
No, I love the way the guitars sound in this.
Yeah.
I love there's something about that kind of the high bends in it that are just like I've literally stolen big bits of a lot of emo music for this track I've been working on for more than 2 months now, and this is one of the bigger things I think I've now listening to. I've been like, oh shit, I've just stolen that. Not exactly, but you know what I mean. I've stolen ideas from it.
You've not stolen it, you've reappropriated it.
I feel like that song absolutely conveys an emotion and delivers it well. I've realised I picked this and it's really hard to talk about because it's very short.
Extremely short, yeah. Like
the instrumentation's really cool. I love the vocals. It's all very, again, to say for the 15th time since this like section started a minute and a half ago, emotion. Yeah, it's very self-destructive track, if you get what I mean. It feels
I get what you mean. Yeah.
And yeah, I like the screaming and I like the music. And I do think it's a wall of noise.
Yeah, totally.
The amount of dissonance in it. That it is just an impressive layer of music that just fucking hits you. I think that's what actually drew me to it in the first place, because I wasn't really into noise music at that point. I was into my punk and stuff like that, but I hadn't discovered bands, like, because I got recommended this on Spotify, I think in like 2014, so I hadn't discovered, like, my only kind of thing was maybe the next couple bands that I'm going to talk about were my only kind of noise music things, but I hadn't discovered bands like Husker Du or, you know, stuff like that, which this is clearly very much inspired by. I hadn't really discovered emo or like screamo as a genre, and this song hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, this is fucking incredible. I've never heard anything like this. So this was the moment that I turned full emo.
Oh my god, like, did you listen to this and then you took your headphones off and all of a sudden you had a big swept over fringe and you were wearing like a stripy sweatband?
To be fair, I already probably had the swept over fringe. You've seen the state of my hair for years now.
Yeah, but that's also to do with the fact that we can't be friends with hairdressers anymore.
Yeah, not at the moment.
Yeah.
Give it another, was it 13 days and get a haircut again? Christ.
I don't know, but I'm desperate for somebody who's trained in scissors to come near me.
Yeah, my mom keeps offering to cut my hair, and I'm like, no, fuck right off.
I'll cut your hair.
No,
that'd be so funny.
I've seen what you do to your fringe. Not a chance.
I will shave a Nike tick into the back of your dome.
Like I did to you last time.
I wish you had done that. That would have been amazing. I would be 3 stripes though. I would want 3 stripes in my undercut.
Because you're a massive sweaty.
Do you know what? Embrace the chaos.
Embrace the Davis.
Sorry, Jamie, did you just sing the song of my people?
If you, on a dark night, and you're feeling lonely, if you just shout into the sky, Katie will appear out of nowhere. Her and Jonathan Davis.
I was going to say, if you do that in the mirror 3 times, Jonathan Davis will appear and sing the theme from Silent Hill at you.
He'll sing, "Bitch, we got a problem." Don't know why that was the only fucking corn song I could think of.
God only knows.
No, they've never done that song. Although I would pay to hear it. Imagine a corn cover of God Only Knows.
I'm trying, that's why I was silent.
I may not always know you.
I dislike this.
I could keep going, but I'm not going to subject people to this. Katie, tell us what your next song is.
Nobody is going to be surprised to find out that my next song is Talking with Fireworks by the Twilight Sad.
Track 4. So that was National Treasure, the Twilight Sad, with Talking with Fireworks and Here It Never Snowed. Surprise, surprise, Katie's picked another sad song.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's alright. Like, this is perfect for noise rock, though. When you were like, I'm not sure this is a wall of noise, and then suddenly I had to fucking turn it down at the start because it hit my ears that hard.
Yeah, it's a big boy. It's a big boy.
It's a big beefy boy.
It's a very beefy boy. Obviously, Twilight Sad's first album, 14 Autumns and 15 Winters, was influenced by Phil Spector, and you can hear it here. If you go on Wikipedia, you can find out the language the album is in is Scottish English.
Oh.
Yeah, like I said earlier, a lot of my picks kind of came from how I felt when I saw these songs being performed live. I cannot remember the first time I saw the Twilight Sad do Talking with Fireworks live, but I can't remember that every single time I have ever seen it be performed, it feels like being hit in the face with a skillet.
Really does. A fair few of the tracks off of 14 Autumns and 15 Winters sound like this.
Yeah. For me, Wall of Noise is a feeling. Like, I know how silly that sounds. It really...
No, but you know it in your gut when
really
it's
does. Yeah, but like, see that episode of The Simpsons where Milhouse is playing that video game, what's it called? Bone Storm?
Bone Storm, yes. Welcome, Thrill House.
And he's Thrill How. There's no E on Thrill House. But he's getting blasted back in the chair.
Yeah, that's Wall of Noise.
Yeah, that's what I feel like Wall of Noise is. That image of Milhouse getting blasted in the chair by the video game.
It's that and shoegaze that image conveys for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shoegaze and Wall of Noise kind of mixed together.
There is an overlap.
That image, for some reason, always conjures Kaleidoscope by Ringo Death Star for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's weird. I like that.
Someone I know described that as listening to The Cure in a wind tunnel. And I think that image conveys that.
Yeah, very much so. I get that. I get that.
Twilight Sad.
Yeah, I really like the droning aspect of it, but still quite high and light.
Yeah. Like, I mean, they're layering guitars, like, tremolo picking then that's what's really giving that wall of noise. Then the kind of militaristic drum beat, that dun 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 dun, dun
Yeah, totally.
really is an assault on the senses.
I think the Twilight Sad give a lot of credit to James Graham, who's the lead singer, for his lyrics and his vocals, which are probably my favourite thing about the Sad. But Andy McFarlane doesn't get enough credit. He's the guitarist, but he also produces. He produced, I think, the first couple of albums, but he's always got a hand in it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think his production is really, really good. Yeah, I think he's got a really interesting ear for music. I think the Twilight Sad always just sound really good, and they always, like, the music always sounds like it's hitting you in the face.
My thing with Twilight Sad is it feels so familiar but so distant. It's very ethereal but very familiar.
Yeah.
Especially with 14 Autumns and 15 Winters, the vocal melodies all feel like they're ingrained in my fucking soul. And I only heard that album for the first time 5 years ago. I came to Twilight Sad really late. But every single one of them spoke to me on a spiritual level as a Scottish person. I don't know, it feels very homely to me. Maybe touches of being chest instead of chest and, stuff like that. Sorry, you were going to say.
No, not at all. Yeah, I think I've said this several times before because I'm never finished talking about the Twilight Sad because I'm that boring bastard. But I grew up not far from where they're from, and I, see a lot of the same sights that they probably did when they were writing this album. They're from Kilsyth, I'm from Lenzie, which is kind of a couple of towns over. And this album sounds to me the way the Campsie Basin looks. I know it's a really silly thing to say.
No, it's not.
But it's got that kind of that sweeping aspect to it. I don't really know how to describe it, but the 14 Autumns and 15 Winters sounds to me the way that the view outside my window looks. And you can't see outside my window, so that's really fucking hard for you to envisage, right?
There's some nice hills, really.
Just imagine some rolling glens, a lot of hills that appear to be quite small, but then you actually get up them and you're like, oh my god, what have I done? Yeah, it feels like home.
Even as someone who didn't grow up near that, I grew up in Coast. Their music is homely to me as well.
Yeah.
I think even though they weren't, living near me when they wrote this, their songs are so broadly applicable to growing up in Scotland.
Yeah, totally.
And there's something in the feeling of it.
Yeah, it's difficult to explain the kind of feeling that the Twilight Sad, especially early Twilight Sad, especially this, and Here It Never Snowed, and the Kill My Parents EP, and even Forget the Night Ahead. I
was going to say, Forget the Night Ahead keeps that very traditional Scottish melody. I don't understand, I say traditional, but, it's obviously not ripped from, Ceilidh music or anything like that, or, Scottish folk, but, it feels like Scotland to me.
It's the same feeling I get when I listen to the first Arab Strap album.
Yeah, that feels like Scotland. It's the same feeling I get when I listen to Black and Sky by Biffy Clyro, or Travis. What was the Travis one?
The Man Who.
The Man Who by Travis.
Or Big Country by Big Country.
I don't like Big Country. That's
right,
my take.
That's your issue, and you have to deal with that separately. But Big Country sounds like Scotland.
Don't know if I agree with that, but
we'll move on. Delamitri.
Delamitri, yes. We're now just naming Scottish bands. We're now just fucking naming Scottish bands.
No, Delamitri sounds like Scotland.
It does and it doesn't. They come under the orange juice category for me, where it sounds like city Scotland. It doesn't sound like... Yeah. It doesn't sound like, which I feel is a little bit put on, if you get what I mean. It's honest and in some way, but for me it's not relatable.
Yeah.
I say that I grew up in Edinburgh, but I'm from Portobello, which is the outskirts. So it doesn't actually feel like Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Especially back then when it wasn't so fucking painfully middle class and, disgusting.
Start another podcast about gentrification, Jim.
Oh, God. I'm living in Leith. I know what fucking gentrification is.
But I think the Twilight Sad sound like Scotland, and I think that big wall of noise feels like the rain.
Yeah. It does have a rainy effect to it.
Yeah. Rolling mist. I could talk about this for years, so we should probably move on before everyone dies of boredom. What's next, Jamie?
Next up, we have probably my first interaction with noise rock. No More Sorry by My Bloody Valentine. So that might have been the hardest listen of this week.
It may well have been Jamie.
Just with how dissonant and, the topic of abuse. It's not a light song
No.
in the slightest, but I think Isn't Anything specifically was my introduction to shoegaze and noise rock. I hadn't heard anything like that, and I think my cousin Simon showed me My Bloody Valentine, and I fell in love with this album immediately. And that track is one of the most powerful pieces of music I've ever heard. It's not one I listen to a lot, but it certainly is affecting.
I really like the dissonance between the vocals and the wall of noise.
Because the vocals are almost soothing, but the wall noise is so harsh because it's all tremolo picked and all the instruments. The drums are just kind of splashing about,
Yeah.
like throughout the verses anyway. And then there's these moments of calm and like a tiny wee bit of silence, and then it kicks back in. It really does feel like you've been dragged through the ringer.
Totally. What album is that from?
This is off their debut album, Isn't Anything,
Right, okay.
which I actually prefer to Loveless. I like Loveless a lot, but
Right.
I'll for some reason, I think because I heard Isn't Anything first, I connect more to it. And definitely went back to it more.
I was always more into Loveless.
Yeah, I like Loveless too. It's a good album, but it has like tracks like this, and I can see it but I can't feel it. And When You Wake You're Still in a Dream, and Soft as Snow but Warm Inside, which I can't, they're just some of my favourite My Bloody Valentine tracks.
Yeah.
I will say though, that Only Shallow and Loveless is probably my favourite My Bloody Valentine song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I thought there was no My Bloody Valentine track that fit the description of noise rock more than No More Sorry.
Okay.
Because it is just noise. It's a wall of sound,
Yeah,
hitting you.
totally.
And it's harsh and it's abrasive, but there's something beautiful about it.
Very much so, yeah.
It has a beautiful fragility to it. Not to sound too masturbatory. What?
No, just you.
Sorry, I feel like pure worn out after listening to that because it is just such a downer of
No.
a track.
It's okay, it's alright. It's nice that I'm not the one giving the downer track for a change.
I think the first time I heard this, I was like in high school. I was still in high school when I started listening to My Bloody Valentine. Got really into shoegaze. Yeah, I think I was like in 5th year of high school, and this was it blew my mind at the time. Before this, I was only into bands like Queens of Stone Age and Green Day
Yeah.
and Faith No More. I suppose Faith No More have some like heavy tracks, but none of them feel real. You know what I mean?
I feel like noise rock and heavy are very different things, though.
Yeah, this feels grounded, whereas like a lot of the kind of Faith No More stuff feels surrealist. This feels very rooted in realism and probably written from actual experiences.
Yeah, there's something quite ethereal about it, though.
Oh yeah, it does feel kind of ghostly.
Yeah, very much so.
Not in the way that Tom Waits sounds like a haunted comb, but in the way that it just sounds not of this earth. But maybe that's part of the dissonance to it as well.
Yeah, no, I agree.
What did you feel about the track?
It's good.
Another one of those.
No, I liked it. I like My Bloody Valentine. I'm more into Loveless, but that's just because it's what I know kind of thing. It's not any personal preference kind of thing. But I do like My Bloody Valentine. I do like this song. I'll probably listen to it when I'm depressed.
Yeah, it's a good recommendation.
So,
it's a good depression song.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Love to be depressed.
This is the reason why we don't have a Spotify playlist this week, because none of My Bloody Valentine stuff is on Spotify. Well, there's 3 songs.
Oh, well.
YouTube will know
I
this.
thought it was because we were lazy.
No. None of that. Shall we move on to something slightly less depressing?
No. This is still depressing. But in
It's
a
not
good
as
way.
depressing.
No, but it's nice and angry. Right, Jamie, I will see you in 11 minutes because we are about to listen to Like-Headed by Mogwai.
Come back from your 12-minute dream state of listening to Mogwai.
Can you imagine trying to sleep listening to that, though?
I think I could, though, because I completely zone out. It happened when we saw them live, right? So we went to go see them at Leaf Theatre.
Which was amazing.
A fucking amazing gig. But they played this, and, it's quite quiet for the build for a lot of that song before the big screaming distortion bit comes in. And, we're watching them play, and when you see Mogwai, you zone out a wee bit. I think that's part of it. I think it helped we were in seats as well, so we're, chilling out. And then I saw the boy hit the pedal. I knew what was coming. I knew the big distorted bit was coming. And when it actually happened, we both fucking shat ourselves.
Absolutely shat my pants.
I don't think I've ever heard anything that loud in my entire fucking life
Never in my
live.
life.
It was like
I thought the
actually
roof-
scarily loud.
I thought the roof was going to come off the building.
I genuinely thought they were going to at least put a window out
Oh, yeah.
with the sound pressure. It was incredible, like completely. That transcended that gig for me because it happened again later. Like at the next drop, I was like, "Fucking hell!" It was unrelenting. And I like
So good, though.
literally 2 weeks ago, I described this exact thing to my friend Owen, and then I was like, "Listen to the track," and I put it on while we were chatting on Discord, and then we both, I think, completely forgot about it, and he fucking shat himself when that drop kicked in.
Beautiful. It's just such a great song, though.
It is, and it feels hellish.
It does. It feels like being kicked to death.
I love that build, and then the bends at the fucking release is just so good. That that's my impression of it. I hope you enjoyed
Really
that.
good, Jamie. Thank you so much. I can't imagine a reality that exists and not being able to headbang to that song.
Yeah, because Mogwai aren't really that heavy a band anymore. They have their moments.
They have their moments.
But specifically Young Team is a heavy as fuck album, and I love it for that.
I love it.
It's my favourite Mogwai album. Really is.
Mine too. I do like Mr. Beast as well, to be fair.
I like this, and I like Come On Die Young.
Yes. I just like Mogwai.
Mogwai are great. I also like their most recent stuff as well. Like everything they do, and they've evolved really well over the years. I just wish they had the rights to this album so they could re-release it.
Yeah, I
I'd
get
buy
that.
this in an instant. They put out 10 Rapid last year on vinyl,
Yeah.
and immediately grabbed that.
I just got Mr. Beast for Record Store Day as well,
Nice.
which was great.
It's funny, the first time I ever heard Mogwai was in... Have you ever played that game, Spec Ops The Line?
I've watched you play it.
So, it's a kind of... It's a shooter, but then it has all this clever elements where it actually is a twist that you're villainous as fuck, and it's a whole deconstruction of modern military shooting games.
Yes.
And basically makes you feel terrible for everything you've done in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But it ends with Are You Still Into It by Mogwai.
Alright, okay.
And that was one of the first times I ever heard Mogwai. And I was like, holy
Okay.
shit.
That's quite a tune to end on.
I guess it's apt as well. Are you still
Yeah.
into the war game now that you know that you've been vile for the entire time? Are you still into
Yeah, I
these
mean,
pornographic pieces of propaganda to make you feel fine about the Gulf War? Like,
I think Aidan Moffat was just kind of talking about shagging in that song, but yeah, absolutely.
but it works though.
Yeah.
But the whole album has a really strong, I've said this like millions of times, aesthetic to it.
Mm-hmm.
And like
It does.
Herod is pure hellish, and I fucking love it.
Oh, I love it. It's kind of uncomfortable at points, isn't it?
Hi. And it is a wall of sound. When that fucking drop hits you, fuck me.
It hurts.
It feels like it is a journey of a song as well, because it is very long.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll be honest, listeners, I did dissuade Katie from picking Mogwai for Your Satan, which is 16 minutes, so you're welcome.
Nobody feels welcome, Jamie.
Mogwai for Your Satan's a fantastic song as well, but
Thank you.
like Herod's a better song.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is just like your opinion podcast now.
I mean, you agreed to this earlier as well.
I agree to a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily mean I agree with them.
I think it literally means that, though.
Are you my lawyer? You don't know me.
Aye. Mogwai repeatedly put out great music. They're fantastic live
Yes,
as well.
they really are.
Again, the old adage about how lyrics are just a trick to get you to listen to the music applies here. You don't need the lyrics for this.
No, you don't. Mogwai still do good songs with lyrics, though.
Oh yeah, and I like that they don't always use lyrics. They just use them when
Yeah.
it works.
When they feel like it, when they can be bothered.
Mm.
I feel that.
The only real track with lyrics on this album is "Are You Still Into It?" Right? That's the only one with like a traditional vocal line. There's like
Yes.
there's like samples and stuff in other tracks and
Wait.
little spoken passages as well.
Yeah. I think it is the only one with lyrics.
Like there's others where they have spoken passages, but it's the only one that's like traditionally songy, and that's because they've got
Yeah.
Aidan Moffat going like, "Are you still into it?" Over the top,
Because I'm still into it.
doing his usual drone. Fucking love Aidan Moffat though.
I'm a big fan. Oh wait, Tracy's on this album too.
Yeah, that doesn't have any lyrics.
Oh, I'm getting confused again. Oh no.
It has the bit at the end where they talk about having a punch up in the mixing room, but
Yeah.
that's it.
I'm not clever, but at least I'm pretty, you know?
It's alright, it's alright. Tracy's probably my favourite song on the album.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I love that song.
nice.
Please, Mogwai, find out how to re-release Young Team. Work that the fuck out. Because I want it on vinyl, and I don't want to pay £200 for it. So
I would like that. I would like that too, because I can't afford to constantly pay for expensive vinyl.
to kick things back up a notch energy-wise, next up we've got Moat by Sonic Youth. Classic Sonic Youth right there.
Yes.
Moat off of their seminal album Goo. Can't believe I just used the words seminal and goo in the same sentence. Because I can't resist a dick joke, apparently.
Absolutely not.
I like Sonic Youth. I do have my issues with them. I've seen Thurston Moore live, wasn't a big fan, but then I have tinnitus, and part of it is the way he does wall of sound is he uses a lot of feedback noise from guitars in the production, and it's very screechy, and I think that contributes to his kind of noise music production. As a kind of traditional songy section, and then it just kind of descends into screeching guitars and wild drum patterns and stuff. This is one of the few Sonic Youth songs that are sung by Lee Ronaldo. He did this on Goo, and he did Wish Fulfillment on Dirty, and a couple other tracks as well. I think he's probably my favourite Sonic Youth vocalist. Him or Thurston Moore. I like Kim Gordon too, but yeah, what can you do? So Katie, what do you think of that?
I think it reminds me of an article that I saw recently, Jamie, and I would like to read you the headline of it.
What was the article?
The article was from a Primo music magazine, and its headline is "How to Tell If You Like Sonic Youth, or Just Like Telling People You Like Sonic Youth."
So do you not like Sonic Youth?
I don't like Sonic Youth. I don't get Sonic Youth, and everything I hear about Sonic Youth makes me like them less.
I really enjoy 3 of their albums. I haven't actually given the rest of their stuff a listen. I've only heard like their 3 big albums, Daydream Nation, Goo, and Dirty.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore Dirty. Goo, I think, is good, but not amazing, and the same with Daydream Nation. I think I held them more in reverence because I got into them. They were just after I got into My Bloody Valentine. They were like one of my early kind of noise rocky bands.
Right, okay.
So like I hadn't listened to the Pixies at that point. I hadn't listened to like, you know, other bands of that scene at the time. But Thurston Moore as a guitarist is a genius. The man writes some incredible pieces of music.
Okay.
His riffs are really interesting and intricate.
Okay.
And yeah, his production is just insane. I suppose you could, you know, the production was him, Ronaldo, and Kim Gordon as well. So what did you find off-putting about that?
Oh, I don't know. See, it's difficult because I feel like I kind of have the opposite problem of that article, what's headline I just read out. It's like, do I not like Sonic Youth, or do I not like Sonic Youth because everyone thinks they're hot shit? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not wild on them. I've never really sat down and thought, oh, I'd really like to listen to Sonic Youth right now. If I wanted to listen to noise rock and enjoy it, I would listen to My Bloody Valentine.
See, I always found time to chuck on either Goo or Dirty. And honestly, actually, in work I get away with chucking on like Teenage Riot or that, because it has more of a punk influence than My Bloody Valentine does, but it has the shoegaze aspects of it too. And I mean, that's what I enjoy about Sonic Youth.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of acceptable edge of punk where I can get away with like chucking on Here Comes Your Man by the Pixies or Teenage Riot by Sonic Youth, which is on the edge, but I can't get away with Gouge Away by the Pixies or like
Okay.
or anything like slightly heavy.
See, I think that's an issue with your work. I don't know what it is about Sonic Youth. I've just never been able to get into them. I've never really, like, because I've tried to listen to Goo, I've tried to listen to Daydream Nation. I just don't particularly enjoy them. And I don't know what it is, but I've just never been a big Sonic Youth person. So I'm sorry, Thurston Moore. I hear you're devastated.
So like I said earlier, I've seen Thurston Moore at the art school with Holly, I think, my friend Holly. And neither of us were that impressed. He has this presence live. The drummer from Sonic Youth was also there that night. He was playing drums for Thurston Moore at that point in time. I think he still is. But obviously it wasn't Sonic Youth because there was no Lee Ronaldo or Kim Gordon. And yeah, I didn't have a great time because I have tinnitus and he uses a lot of feedback, and the art school doesn't have particularly good sound. This is the new art school. Also, weird thing, Every time I go to the art school bar, I rip my trousers or my jeans. I don't know why it
Yeah.
happens. They rip in the same place. It's happened 3 times now. And like, the first time it happened, I was like, oh fuck, I've ripped my jeans. And then the second time I went back for that Sonic Youth gig, and I was like, haha, last time I was here, I ripped my jeans. Wonder if that's going to happen again. Yeah, it fucking did. Third
Yeah,
time,
jeans.
I was just like, oh god, like, I don't know if I want to go here. Every time I go here, my jeans ripping in. I fucking again. It happened.
You ripped
I'm,
your
sh-
jeans.
I'm sure there's somebody who follows me about with a pair of scissors in there. So there's that boy, we're going to
Oh.
fucking rip the inseam of his fucking jeans.
Did it rip on your bum?
No, it was like in our upper thigh. It was such a
Uh-huh.
weird place to rip
Right.
as well. It's not even like the crotch or anything, it's like upper thigh.
That is weird.
So, yeah. Fuck you, art school bar. And that was like the difference, with, like, the first 2 times I went to the art school was the old bar, then the new one. So it followed me through buildings.
Right, okay.
So don't go to the art school unless you want ripped jeans.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. But I like this stuff in the studio because my ears can take it when I'm not having to hear it hit off walls and be very loud.
Yeah.
And that song uses dissonance really well to make the melody more pronounced and a bit more powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
Our last song of the week, Katie, is your pick.
Oh man. Oh, that's a lot of pressure, Jamie. This is the song I'm least confident with. But I think it's just a good song, so let's just I say we just fucking go for it, Jamie.
Let's do it.
This is I Like Trains with A Rook House for Bobby.
Thank you.
Okay, so my confidence is taking a big hit with this choice.
Well, I was like, how the fuck is this noise rock until it kicked in at the end, and I was like, oh, I can see why.
That's why I picked it.
Takes a minute to build into it, but yeah, no, I totally get that.
Okay, good. Oh,
Yeah,
Crisis Averted.
Alright, that was the first time I've ever heard that, and I really dug it.
I Like Trains are really, really good, despite the fact that they have a terrible band name. So that came from their first, I think it's an EP, I'm not sure, it's called Progress Reform. So that song is about Bobby Fischer, the chess player.
Okay.
They also have a song for R.F. Scott, the
Yeah,
Polar Explorer.
Yeah, I was going to say the Antarctic Explorer.
Yeah, they have one about the Beaching Report.
Okay.
So they're a really interesting band. They write really interesting songs, and nobody likes I Like Trains. I like Trains. I feel like we should like I Like Trains. They're good.
I think my biggest problem was the boy's voice, if I'm being honest. It was alright, but it did sound like he was
I
trying
like
to
his
do...
voice.
I don't know, it just sounded like a less good version of the boy from the Editors, to me,
Anyway,
if I'm being honest. I really liked the music, but I think that was the weakest point for me. I liked the
Right,
lyrics as well. It was just his actual voice.
right, okay. Yeah, I really like it.
I liked the trumpet. I noticed there was a trumpet.
There was a wee trumpet.
We trumpet doing some backing chords subtly
Absolutely.
to build that wall.
Yes. Just a wee bit of trumpet in there. Just to really liven up the day.
Well, it makes a nice change from all the tremolo guitars. I mean, there's still plenty of tremolo-picked guitars in there, because that seems to be the old standover of head noise music, is droning tremolo guitars.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it works really well together.
Yeah. I think it's a really good bit of music. I think I Like Trains are really good, and I really like the way it builds into the wall. And like the pieces start to assemble. You've got that last kind of 30 seconds of like crashing music.
It gives me big Interpol vibes for the way it builds.
Yeah, I get why you'd say that, yeah.
It's maybe partially the vocals in that as well, because he does sound like he's doing a kind of editor's Interpol thing with his voice, but
Yeah, I get that.
you know, post-punk.
Yeah, all my picks are just post-punk, Jamie. I've misunderstood the assignment.
I don't think you have. Stop undermining the episode, Katie. We're 50 minutes in or whatever.
I'm not undermining the episode. I'm undermining myself, Jamie.
Stop
There's
it.
a huge difference,
Stop
Jamie.
it.
And
Believe
I'm
in
not
yourself.
if I'm not self-deprecating, I die.
No, I like that. That's actually going to go on my playlist.
Yay! Please listen to I Like Trains, Jamie. I think you would really like them.
I make half these playlists to see if I can get some new tracks to listen to. Off of
And
Katie.
all you have to do, all you have to do is ask me, like, Katie, can you recommend me a song? Then I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Here, smell your dick.
I showed you that. I
How the
showed
tables
you
have
that.
How the
How
tables have
dare you
turned.
suggest that you showed me smell your dick? End of the podcast. I'm not having that. I'm not having that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to say. Like, It's a great song. It features a wall of noise, hence its inclusion on the
And-
podcast.
Yep.
It's about chess. Yeah, I don't know what a rook house is. I know what a rook is. I know what a house is, but I don't know what a rook house is. I
Yep.
know Bobby is Bobby Fischer.
I don't know what a rook house is either. So
Right, well, do you know what? That's something we could Google, but we are not going to do that
no research.
in the interest.
Fuck that.
Exactly. If it's not on Wikipedia, we don't know it, right?
Exactly.
I don't even play chess. I've played chess once, technically twice. The first time I didn't win, but I drew because the other person kind of shat it and
Right.
stalemated themselves.
She's talking about me, as in I
Talking about you.
I accidentally fucking stalemated our first game. Thank you.
So
51 classic games on the Nintendo Switch.
technically, I'm not that bad at chess.
You were doing good for your first couple games.
Ever.
I don't know if you were building a rook house
I
for
suck at
Bobby.
chess. I wish Bobby Fischer was here to explain to me what a rook house is, but I don't know.
So that's all for this episode of 8 Tracks. Tell us your picks for the wall of noise in the comments of the video. Next week, we are covering Dynamite samples. Let us know your picks on Twitter.
Yes.
Until then, stay safe and have a good week.
Wash your hands, tell your mum you love her.
Bye.